Report the financial information in its usual form. I'll try to answer any questions you might have, and there's also members here from the school district if you have any questions.
I have a question. So out of the, how many schools are remaining that need to be, that are still outstanding for construction under the 2007 bond?
Under the 2000, we have everything under construction. We've got, I'm going to say 8 gyms. We've got, Wayne, how many do we have? I don't have my summary here. We've got 10A, 10B, 11A, and 11B. Is that right?
2007.
The 07 gyms, yeah.
Yeah, we just give me a second. I can pull that up.
We've got 2 sets of projects that are real close to being finalized, and we have another set that are in construction. We think first next year they'll be finished. Now, you have on your agenda today also the awarding of Wilson, which is another 2007 gym. But after that, that's all that we've been asked to do.
Was that all of the original scope of schools that were considered under the bond, or is that all that we've been
That's
asked
all the gymnasiums under the original scope.
Okay, thank you.
We have 5 gyms that are practically complete. We're just finishing some minor punch list items. We have 3 gyms that are under construction and 1 that's on your agenda today, award contract.
Thank you.
So just to clarify, after item number 7, if it's approved today, that will be the last expenditure we approve for 2007.
There may be some change orders and things, but that'll be the last contract award for the 07 gymnasiums that the Master Kids office was asked to do.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on item number 3? Okay.
I do. Sorry.
Yes. Nope, go ahead.
Where are we financially on the original bond fund compared to expenditures?
This 2016 or the 07?
The both.
Is there someone here from the district that could help me with that?
My name is Deanne Fennell. I'm the Director of Financial Accounting and Reporting. Inside your packet, you should have the revenue and the remaining balances that we have that are not either encumbered or planned or already spent. For the 07, I don't have the full packet in front of me. I only have the summary from outside. But for the 07, there should be about $4.5 million left. However, all of that money is restricted for particular projects like plumbing or electrical. For the 07. And then for the 16.
And then are those funds already allocated to 4.577 million?
No, those are remaining projects. That's remaining funds, but right now, according to the bond wording, they can only be spent on projects like plumbing or electrical at this time. We have to spend 85% according to how the bond wording proposition states, and so that is some of the remaining funding for plumbing in particular. It has a lot of funding left.
Which does or does not include the gymnasiums that...
Gymnasiums are a completely separate item under the 07 bond. The gyms are actually quite over their original budget. If you have the page 1, it'll tell you that originally we were given $78 million, and we spent $83 million so far on the gyms.
And that is because after we built, I think, 4 of them, we decided that we needed to do safe rooms on them, and they all went up about $250,000 a piece to get that FEMA rating and to be a safe room.
And so the 19 that's sitting in the planned projects, that moved from a different column, so that is, I guess there's some earmarked projects for that nowadays?
There are, because we received a couple of questions, and it seemed to appear like we had a ton of money available to just spend on any projects. We tried to make it a little more detailed this time. Those planned projects include items like the Westwood Gymnasium, which needs to be put in, security fences at our high schools, security cameras at our elementary schools, painting of some of our schools, some remediation for the Taft Stadium, school cafeteria renovations, projects that are planned and have been approved by our superintendent, but just have not been made it yet.
Okay.
Final approval.
So just to clarify, there may be additional projects
If
from,
there is another gym, then yes, my understanding, it will need to go through this board.
okay, from the 07.
Yes.
So this wouldn't be the last. Item number 7 would not be the last.
If we build another gym with funding from 07, then yes, there will be one more.
Okay.
My comment was based on what we have currently planned to do.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Do you know of any that gyms that could be possibility or that have been spoken about?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you know of any gyms that have been spoken about that haven't been built?
Westwood is the only one that I'm aware of that is tentatively planned to go forward with a gym, but that is the only one that I have.
That's probably the 2.5 sitting there, it's being held in the gym.
Yeah, the 2.5 million that you mentioned is the Westwood.
I guess there could be some other excess from projects that are currently in process for change orders and
Yes,
like how they've
absolutely.
come back before. I'm assuming that will come out of that 4.5 million as well, right?
Yeah, if we have any other projects, we actually have some plumbing projects that we are planning right now, which will reduce down this $4.5 million.
Okay, thank you.
One school that, a middle school that doesn't have a gym that I don't think ever was looked at was Belle Isle. Can you take that back and look at it? I mean, they don't have a gym?
I can take that back and let someone know, but I am just the finance piece.
Since your athletic director is right behind you.
If someone else would like to speak on it, they can, but I just handle the finance piece.
Okay. Did you want? You good? All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. I need a motion to approve item number 4.
Motion.
Second.
All right, please vote. Motion passes. All right. Item number, was that number? Oh, sorry. Now we're on item number 4. So we just approved item 3. Item number 4, approve the cancellation of our regular meeting, which was scheduled for Tuesday, October the 2nd, and rescheduling it to a special meeting on Tuesday, September 25th. We're at council chambers.
Right, this is just to allow us to have this meeting prior to the school board because the calendar has moved and it puts us a week ahead of that instead of the day after.
Second.
Motion is second. Please vote. Motion is approved. Item number 5 on the consent docket. If I could get a motion to approve unless somebody wants to pull something out and discuss it separately.
I need to point out that you have a new memo at your seat here for a typo correction on item Q. The last line under background was left out of yours, so it says the proposal from Worthington Direct is not being recommended because they cannot provide all furniture needed. That has been added to the memo.
So if we would like, I need a motion to approve items A through R on the consent docket, unless somebody would like to talk about an item individually.
I had a question about, just, and this is kind of a high-level question, I don't know if we need to carve it out individually, but with the arts, visual arts departments of the respective schools that is included in one of these items, is this an inclusive list, or is it a totally exhaustive list, or will other arts departments of other high schools and junior highs?
Which item is that?
I think it's item Q.
Oh, the one I was just speaking about.
I think it has 13 schools listed on there, so I don't know if there are additional, I think you're asking, are we expanding this later? Is this all the schools that we're including for the new furniture purchase?
I don't know all the schools, but I know Harding Fine Arts is a fine arts school would fall to the categories not on here. So that makes me think, are there other schools that would be included in this?
I don't know the school's plan. Is there anybody here who can talk about fine arts?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Taylor. I'm the Director of Visual and Performing Arts. So we asked each arts teacher, each visual art teacher, if they needed tables, and not everybody did. And so the ones that replied and said, yes, we do need tables or furniture, we are doing that with this request. And then the ones that didn't need tables or furniture, we are allowing to make different purchases, like a kiln or whatever they are needing later.
So Rhonda, was there a certain amount of money allocated to each school that they could buy furniture or art equipment? Was that how it worked?
Yes, initially I did. We, as a district, are not promising them an amount, but I did look at the amount that rolled down on the district website per school, and I took a certain percentage of that for visual arts, and then I had to look and see if they had more than one visual art teacher and make adjustments based on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Rhonda, what if they only had a .5 art teacher? Were they excluded from it?
No, I don't think in secondary. I think the only .5 we have for secondary is an Emerson teacher, and she will actually be the third teacher at that school. So they were not excluded. However, that teacher may not have her own classroom, and so her needs might look a little different than the other teachers.
As a mobile, maybe being a mobile unit?
Right,
Okay.
right. But in secondary, I don't believe we had any other .5 since she's not quite in place yet.
I had a question. Under R, the John Marshall High, sorry. Under the John Marshall High School Athletic Complex, the funding for us to put the lockers and flooring in it was $67,000. The remainder of that, can we get how that was funded for the entire complex?
I believe there was a donation. Mr. Sinar, do you want to come up and talk about that?
Yes, good afternoon, by the way. The funding for John Marshall was paid for by the John Marshall Foundation. So they asked us if we would come and help them with the flooring and the lockers of that facility. And with that being about a $900,000 to $1 million project that they're giving us, I felt like we needed to do our part to finish out that building.
So they funded $1 million worth, and we're paying close to $67,000?
Yes.
Great gratitude for them
Yes.
and it looks really good out there, too.
Yes,
Great
it's a
looking.
really nice facility.
I did have one issue. I don't know if anybody saw the paper this morning, but I did see where the new superintendent was getting ready to do some community meetings and repurposing some of the schools possibly, and even closing some schools. I was a little, I think it's, much needed, and I was just a little nervous that we're approving lots of expenditures for schools that may be closed in 6 months. So maybe this isn't the greatest time to bring this up, but I did want to I did have some pause about that. I know that we are looking, that there's a much needed reallocation of space in certain areas, but I just didn't know if anybody else had any thoughts or wanted to discuss any of that.
Well, through the district, I don't think have you heard any school names to where we could
No.
compare? So we're kind of caught behind an 8 ball, if you will.
Right.
But I agree with you, there's no reason to spend any money on something that's about to close unless there is another avenue, which I think there are some on some of the locations, to possibly rent to some of the district's vendors. But until we get a list from them, and I think they're going to keep it pretty hush, I think this board is behind an 8 ball on authorized.
Okay.
Well, a lot of these expenditures are roofs, and those are maintenance regardless.
I mean, obviously, we need to
Yeah.
maintain the
You're gonna have to
property,
fix them anyway.
no
Right.
matter what, even if you were going to sell it, but.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So we have items A through R on the consent docket. If I could get a motion to approve,
So moved.
Second.
please vote. Motion passes. All right. Item number 6. Recommend Independent School District number 89 approve the purchase and installation of IT cabling from Chickasaw Telecom from the 2007 school bond issue project, S70011A, gymnasiums at Edgemere, Green Pastures, and Spencer Elementary Schools in the amount of $110,172.20.
So the reason why this was not on consent and it's separate is because it is the 07. Everything that was on the consent agenda was the 2016 funding. So this is 07 funding for the gymnasiums, as you said, at Edgemere, Green Pastures, Spencer Elementary. This is how we've done it in the past. We separate the IT work from the general contractor because all they do is mark it up 15% and go hire these guys anyway, so.
Okay.
Move approval.
Please vote. Motion passes. Item number 7, recommend Independent School District number 89 ratify the issuance of and approve addenda numbers 1 and 2 for I-89, the 2007 school bond issue project, S70011B, which Wilson Elementary School Gymnasium Edition, and to award the contract to Wind Construction with base bid plus alternate 1 in the amount of $2,408,000 and approve the contract and bonds.
This project was bid in our usual form. I would like to point out that there were 10 bidders, and within the 10 bidders from lowest to highest, there was only $400,000 roughly in difference, so it was very tight, very good bid. But I do have to explain some irregularities to you, as it mentions in the memo. The notice to bidders in the original plan said that the project would be bid on August 22nd at 10 a.m. We issued an addendum that had a typo in it that said 2 p.m. is when the bids would be received. So at the pre-qualification, at the pre-bid meeting, they explained that the bids would be at 10 a.m. Everybody that bid it had to be at the pre-bid meeting to be pre-qualified. It was all explained to everybody. Then prior to the bids, the project manager called everybody and made sure that they knew about it. Everybody turned in their bids by 10 a.m. Technically, we should have issued another document that straightened that out and specifically said it was 10 a.m., not 2 p.m., to make sure there weren't any confusion. But it appears that there was not any confusion from the contractor, seeing that we had 10 bidders turned in by 10 a.m. We haven't had anybody tell us that they missed the bid or complain, other than one contractor did make a comment about it, but it wasn't a formal complaint. Since then, we haven't heard anything about it. Discussed this at length with our municipal counselor's office, and we feel like it's appropriate to present this to you, and I feel fully confident in recommending this be awarded.
I got a motion, got a second? Okay, please vote. Agenda item is approved. Item number 8, any comments from the board, staff, concerned citizens? No, seeing none. Then can I get a motion to adjourn? Second, motion by Raul, second by Tim. All right. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all.